All right, we're back here with Mr. Jeremy Lee and Mr. Kenneth Mack, talking about protection when it comes to DDoS mitigation. But I think the burning question that our viewers are asking is on the protection and how does it work. They're hearing things like layer 3, layer 4. Can you tell us about what these are? Basically, if I am, for example, the business owner, and I want to know how DDoS is benefiting from my resources, so can you give us a bird's eye view of what layer 3 is, layer 4, or however many layers there are in terms of?
No, I think from the business angle, the business owner will only focusing on when I have an application, whether this my application will be running smoothly, whether it's available from the internet. Right? You don't need to. They don't need to worry about the layer 3 and 4 because this is more like a very technical level about all the application nowadays of the day in the internet.
Right.
They're running on the TCP/IP. Right, so this TCP/IP are referring to layer 3 and 4, and the business owner won't have any interest to understand this layer 3 and 4. But that's focusing on the layer 7
because
application layer.
The more significant attacks are coming from.
The significant attack is from the multi-layer, right? And the last section we already covered some of those layer 3 and 4 mitigation, but possibly I think we focusing on the layer 7 and address with the business owner. Their concern is about whether the application is available.
The website. Let's say it's a shopping, online shopping site or something like that.
Online trading, online,
So how does a layer 7 protection work? So like, if for example I have this website and there's e-commerce in my website, they can download some stuff, they can watch a video, for example. How does a layer 7 protection operate in that?
Okay, no, the layer 7 protection is more related. Okay, that's focusing on one of the application, which is the most popular one, like what you mentioned about the website is HTTP, right?
Right.
And nowadays in the internet, I would say more than 75% of those applications are running on the web, right?
Okay.
For the web, so when you file the HTTP request from the end user,
right. So if a simple mouse click is actually a command, right? So
it translated into a command and an HTTP request to a specific server, right? So the server receives that HTTP request and respond to the end user.
Okay.
So what we would attack is there's a couple of ways. One is called the water matrix based attack, which means it's flooding all those HTTP requests into the server. Right?
So if the attacker has about 10,000 computers under his arsenal,
they fire the HTTP request at the same time.
So I got 10,000 people clicking a single button.
At the same time, at the same second. Right, this is what we call the volumetric space. A million of HTTP requests come at the same time, right?
Yes.
The second one is more like a resource base.
Resource based.
Based.
So it's volume and resource.
Resource base is like the attacker will keep the TCP section on with a very long time. So which means, for example, they keep the file the HTTP request and keep TCP section for 1 hour, right? For 1 hour, right? So imagine they keep doing it. So what does it mean? You will consume all your web server resources, and this is a cumulative effect, right? Because the web server has a finite resources. That in terms of memory is a finite resources. So once you reach the threshold, your server cannot respond anymore.
Right. That's a good point, Jeremy. Right? Because for the longest time, most of us are thinking that DDoS is all about a volumetric attack. But what Kenneth was mentioning is that it's about the resources of the web server in the backend. So what's good about the protection that we can deliver is that it's a holistic protection, so to speak.
Yes, in fact, in terms of the attack, there are many different tactics that we see so far. And one of the things that he said, imagining you have people clicking on one website all the time.
Right.
The
Yeah.
website was slow, and then now they have the
Thousands
IoT,
of
they have
Oh,
proxies,
yeah.
and getting all this to actually go into access your application, it will dramatically slow down, and then that's why in terms of resources wise, your servers have a certain amount of bandwidth and memory, and as you query the server to perform a function, all this actually queues up in their database, and by the time they create certain kind of resource is maxed out, the whole thing is not able to perform its
Correct.
job anymore, and
Yeah.
that's why the whole service from the customer is being taken down in this particular way. And there are many other ways that in today's context that they are innovating to come out to bypass all the different things that you may have installed on your premise, on your firewall and stuff like that, with the purpose of either coming in the volume to shut down your thing,
Right.
or using tactics to actually consume all the resources within your infrastructure,
Right.
therefore crippling your services.
So like especially now that it's the holiday season, and let's just say I put up a sale on my website.
Yeah.
Can you let us
The scenario.
go through a scenario like how does the engine determine if I'm a legitimate browser
shopper
or shopper
or-
like me and
Or if it's a actual
Attacker.
attack.
Okay. Now, from the attack viewpoint, the attacker always using a machine, what we call the robot, and,
Yeah, the bots,
and the other technical term we call the botnet.
Botnet,
right?
yeah.
Botnet,
Yeah, yeah.
the botnet, right? So basically, we using the progressive challenge. Progressive challenge means
progressive challenge.
progressive challenge.
Okay.
Once no matter is a machine or is a real human being, when they file the HTTP request, we give them a challenge and say that, look, example, one simple term is okay. Now when you want to continue to serve the website, can you move your mouse pointer?
Okay.
Or the captcha.
Yeah, the captcha.
The captcha.
yeah.
Because the machine will not have the intelligence to understand the message.
yeah.
Like, oh, can you move the
Right.
mouse, or you put a sub key on it, right?
Because sometimes
Yeah.
I'm browsing a website and I get annoyed about the captcha and all that. So that's really
That's the purpose.
To identify you are a real human being because you are interactive with the response,
Oh,
right? The
that's one way,
machine,
okay.
right?
That's the challenge.
Yeah, the bonnet will not doing it. So that is what the way we doing the progressive challenge.
So I need to really fill up that captcha.
Yeah, if you want to continue to serve the website. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not just something that is there to annoy you.
Yes.
Yeah.
There really is a purpose to that.
Yeah. To
Okay.
identify you are
As
a real human being
yes.
or a machine. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I mean that's good. So what we're saying here is that the attacks are not always volumetric. There will be an instance wherein you can be attacked and you don't even notice that there's an attack on your network. And there are many different ways to mitigate an attack, and depending on what kind of traffic that you receive on your website, we can do layer 3, 4, 7, and the DNS protection. So yeah, I think it's pretty clear that DDoS protection is quite important, especially nowadays. That I mean, a lot of businesses are going online.
Correct,
A lot of I mean, even the traditional department stores are now building their own online stores. And I think digitization
Has spawned.
I mean, it's the dawn of digitization,
Right.
and it's very important for people to consider this, right?
Yeah.
And the fact remains that the bandwidth is now as important as ever, right? So, talking about bandwidth, so
Yeah.
how does it relate to clean pipe and the protection that it brings? Because if you talk to an IT guy and you say I'm gonna put another layer of protection, they might be thinking it's gonna make my system become slower, right? But as what we've been discussing a while ago and with our previous topics for this subject, is that it will actually even preserve your clean pipe. So perhaps you could guys...
So I give you a high level on this.
Yeah.
Generally, in terms of attack, we have 3 pillars that we talk about.
Okay.
One is the website protection.
Mhm.
One is the clean pipe that I'm going to elaborate further.
Yeah.
And the third pillar is the DNS, where these three are the main angles that attacker can come and attack you,
Mhm.
right? So on the clean pipe way, what the consumer in most market do is they will subscribe the internet link from a service provider ISP, and the
Okay.
ISP will naturally sell them a clean pipe as an upgrade option and say, now you already have an internet link with a service provider ISP. Would you want to also have a clean pipe? And to the consumer, what they will usually understand is, oh, clean pipe means that now I have subscribed to a service that will make sure that traffic coming in is legitimate, because the service provider ISP have a certain equipment in their data center that will clean up any traffic that is not the real traffic, right? So
Correct.
basically this on the high level what this clean pipe does.
Yeah.
And in this particular clean pipe, I will break it down into the in-country cleaning and
Okay.
international cleaning. So in terms
okay.
of the service provider business, what the service provider does, they'll buy a certain brand of hardware,
Mhm.
they install it in their data center.
Yeah.
The limitation is that if they have this equipment in Philippines or in Malaysia or in Singapore, that machine can only clean traffic that's coming into the Philippines. If the attacker is attacking from the US, from Vietnam, from
Yeah.
Russia, there's a high chance that by the time the traffic gets into Philippines, it would have already been too late. So
Okay.
therefore, that kind of protection, we call it the international protection,
Okay.
which NexusGuard is able to provide to the partners here.
Okay.
And IPC is able to
Yes.
deliver both solutions.
Correct.
And if the traffic is local, then the protection is going to be local as well.
Correct. And also the other component that the consumers need to understand is, if I buy a clean pipe from the ISP, how big is the box that the service provider is building in a data center? Because for example, if they buy a 10 gig or 20 gig machine, right? The limitation of how big the traffic they can clean is based on two components.
Yeah.
How big the service provider's internet bandwidth and how big the box they buy.
Yeah.
So if they have only a 10 gig box, the maximum traffic they can provide to clean
Right.
is
Just
10 gig.
10 gig, that's
Just
it.
as example,
Yeah.
if you have a washing machine of a 7 kilo washing machine, and suddenly now I have a volume of 70 kilo of clothes, that machine is not going to be able to
Right.
function. So basically, this is one of the key parameters.
I see.
So that's
What's good about us here in IPC is that if we go back to the washing machine example, we have our own washing machine, but we can take advantage of your washing machine. If I have friends who came over and wanted
I mean the concept of
The analogy of washing machines. Okay.
yeah. Let me elaborate a bit about the beauty of the international square rate.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if you look at the attack or some, you go to the Google and you look at the attack, most of the attack is the original launch of the attack, not from Philippines. Right?
Yes,
That will
yes,
from
yeah.
international like US, Eastern Europe,
Right.
or in some of the
China,
specific
yeah.
countries.
Right.
So the beauty of the international squaring is to make sure we do the mitigation and only allow the key traffic and landing into the Philippines.
the country.
Things,
Yeah.
right.
Are using in Philippines I'm using Philippines as
Yes.
example, right? So which means that all your multinational ISP carrier, they are willing to carry your traffic because this is purely a clean traffic. Instead of high volume, when you're under attack, there will be a huge
Right.
volume of traffic going to the ISP, and the ISP peering bandwidth are limited resources.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah, so
And if they want to get the latest information regarding international attack and traffic and threats, as we discussed earlier, they can actually download the latest attack report from NexusGuard,
Yeah.
and from there they
Yeah.
can find valuable information.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe,
yeah.
NexusGuard, I believe, has is it a quarterly report that you release? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a quarterly report.
Yeah, perfect. So I mean that's something that will definitely help give everyone a better idea,
Aware.
more detailed ideas
Yeah.
of how bad it really can get.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in the previous report, most of the report will actually have a few dimensions. One is what kind of attack we see in Asia. We have
Okay.
a global report that actually shows what are the attacks commonly seen globally or in
Oh,
Asia
okay.
for that
Okay.
particular quarter. So last quarter we see a lot of 91% traffic actually through the NTP attack.
Okay.
And this particular latest report, we also have new updates on what's happening within Asia and what are the trends that's happening right now. So that will give the CISO some intelligence on what they
Alright.
expect to see in the next coming weeks and months.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Any final words, Kenneth and Jeremy, for all those watching?
I would say, as a consumer to owning the IoT devices, please have to have a stronger mindset and concept to protect it. Yeah, rather than someone misuses as a part of the attack army.
Right.
Yeah, and for me, I just want to thank two of you inviting us
Sure.
to
Yes.
do this session.
No,
It's
thank
really
you.
nice. And when I
Thank you
came
for joining
to
us.
Manila, it's really going into the festive season, and I wish everybody going into the Christmas and New Year a happy
Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
and happy New Year to all you guys. As we prepare for 2017.
Oh yes, definitely. So we're really glad to have you here, and hopefully it won't be the last time. We'll have to do more sessions, and there's so much to talk about as far as that surrounds DDoS and security in general. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
All right,
Yeah,
see you guys.
All right, bye bye.
Bye.
If you like what you've seen, you may also watch our previous Think Out Cloud episode.
Go to www.thinkoutcloud.ph and share it to your friends.